What is going on today? We are talking about how you can grow your YouTube channel in 2022 through recorded video and live streaming. That's a common thing that I'm asked a lot. Hey, D, what's better for my channel? Can I grow my channel through live streaming, or should I focus only on videos? What's the balance between the two? So I'm going to cover that today, and I'm joined by a very, very special guest. I'm joined by Luria Petrucci from Live Streaming Pros. This is she's as good as they come when it comes to giving you tips and advice on live streaming and how to build a community. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time today without bringing her in, because she's an absolute gem, and I'm honored to have her on the show once again. Luria, how are you doing?
I am so good. I love hanging out with you, D.
How you doing? And I just want to say, how was your holidays? How was your
It's good. I like a quiet holiday, and that's what it was for me. I my biggest thing on holidays is I go hiking to somewhere new, and I did that, and I found this amazing falls. I live in the Pacific Northwest, so it's beautiful out here. I loved it.
Yeah, I think you posted was it a Instagram story or a tweet or something, and you were hiking.
I
Some
posted
picture.
all sorts of stuff, I'm sure.
All the places. All the places.
All those-
So moving forward into 2022, you focus on live streaming. That's what your channel is all about. And by the way, if you are not subscribed to Luria yet and you are currently live streaming, or you're thinking about live streaming, I got a link to her channel down below. It is called Live Streaming Pro. So Luria, for live streaming, for someone who's trying to figure out what their strategy is going to be in 2022, what tips would you give someone to get going in the right direction? Because things change so fast, right? We are
They do.
everything is changing so quickly.
Well, and I think you teed it up perfectly at the beginning of this, and the question being, should I, do recorded video? Should I do live video? Like, what's the thing? And I think that it's really important for people to understand that when you think about live video, it shouldn't only be about live video, right? We want to take a whole approach to content creation, especially on YouTube specifically. And that's where we'll focus, because different platforms do perform differently and you have different strategies. So with YouTube, it's really about having a recorded video strategy that works together with your live video strategy, and they're helping each other grow your whole channel, as opposed to being completely parallel, which is, I think, the biggest mistake that most people make, is thinking about them in parallel and separate.
I love that. I love that. And I'm curious here. Show of hands in the chat right now. Type in yes or no if you're currently live streaming. If you're live streaming, type in yes. If you're not live streaming, type in no. I strongly believe live streaming is the future. And I think you believe that as well.
Well, I think so. I don't think I'm allowed to say no, but I mean, I've seen live streaming come so far. I've been doing video since 2005 and live since 2007 on a regular basis, on a weekly or daily basis for my audiences. And it has come so far. We've seen so much growth over the last couple of years, and we all know why. And it's only going to get stronger and more normal for people. And I think that there's still a lot of, uncertainty when it comes to live. And I would love to, help clear that up for you guys. So drop your questions for sure. We've got a lot of yeses and a lot of nos.
Yeah, I'm surprised at all the yeses. And by the way, if you do have questions in the chat, just go ahead and let us know what your question is. Let us know who, if it's for video, I can tackle that. If it's for live streaming, Luria can handle that. Just go ahead and ask those questions.
Yeah.
And the thing about live streaming that I think is amazing, in the hint that we've all been given, is all of the platforms either currently have live streaming options, or they're in the process of building live streaming options, or they are improving their live streaming features. I know YouTube is dumping a ton of new features into live streaming coming into 2022.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's your hint. If you're not live streaming and you're trying to figure out how you can, above all else, build a community and make a deeper connection with your audience. And Luria, that's something you really shine with. And I'll never forget it. And I've told you this, countless times, watching the first time I saw you speak at VidCon. You were talking about building a community and that sort of thing through live streaming. And everything you said on the stage really resonated with me, and I've carried that information moving forward because you were spot on, and that was years ago. And you're one of the original live streamers, if I'm not mistaken. You've been doing this for a really long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I'm old. I think he just called me old.
You don't have any gray hair yet, so you know.
Yes, I do. Oh, you can't see it today. Nice. I'll take it. I think that, that community word is important to focus on here, right? And there are a couple of different ways that you can go about live streaming, and it's all about intention. And I think that that's the core piece of advice that you need to take into 2022, and what's going to actually help you succeed when using live and video is the intention behind it. You know, all of the advice that Dee gives you constantly about video, and a lot of that is about intention. But when it comes to live, what is your intention of that particular live stream? We've got potential intentions of community-based, just hanging out with your audience. Dee, you do this a lot, and
That's
hang
what I
out with
do.
your audience and
Right.
just have a chat. That builds loyalty, it builds trust, it builds the community around you, which is massively, massively important for the future of your channel, right? Not only the here and now, but also the future of it. And then you also have other intentions where maybe it's educational based and it's teaching moments, or maybe it's inspiration, right? There's a variety of different intentions that you can have, but you need to be clear going into it to know what you're trying to accomplish. Otherwise, it's going to be lackluster results for you. And so we can dive deeper into that, but I don't want to talk too long because I can talk.
This was completely unplanned, but I think if I were to actually choose a word for 2022, like if you could just sum up the strategy of 2022 moving forward for both live streaming and for pre-recorded video, that word would be intentional, right? Be
Yeah.
intentional with everything you do. You just covered that perfectly for live streaming, and the same exact thing applies to video. Be intentional about every topic that you choose, about the titles that you write, about the thumbnails that you make, about how you communicate in your video, about how you edit that video, right? You have to think
Yeah.
about who is going to be watching your video, how can you communicate with them, and every step along the way needs to really be intentional. The days of just throwing a bunch of stuff up on the platform and seeing what sticks, those days are gone. But I will say that if you're just getting started and you don't know what to do yet, you can technically still do that for now and then lean into whatever you find starts to work. But once you understand, well, okay, this is working, this is the direction I'm going to go in, you have to stop just throwing stuff against the wall. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional and lead them to the next video to watch. You know, they finish one video, lead them to the next video to watch. You do that with end screens and cards and pinned comments and links in your description. So intentionality, I think that's the way moving forward, instead of just winging it.
Absolutely.
Instead of just winging it and trying to, well, I'll just throw this up or I'll just go live and see what happens. That's
Like
not
we
going to get
didn't
you very
do.
far.
Yeah. No.
Like we did. No.
I'm just teasing you. I think along those lines, I was able to increase my retention rates for my live streams and my videos in 2021 on my channel by up to 1,300%.
Oh.
Just by doing a few things. So
Let's hear
you
it.
want to talk about those? Okay. So,
Let's hear it.
first of all, I got intentional. To sum it up, right? We've got really intentional. And one day I streamed most of this year 2 days a week. One of those days was a community-based show where it's more casual. We dance, of course, on my channel. Like if you come to my channel, you've got to have your dancing shoes on because we like to have fun. And so it's really just like, hanging out, community oriented. The other day on my channel is more educational focused, where I'm delivering tips and how-to information on something live streaming related, whether that's tech or strategy. And, at the beginning of the year and previously, I'd always kind of done that educational where it kind of dragged on. It's like, because it's live. So you wind up talking to the audience and you kind of stumble over your words or you kind of go off on squirrels. And those would be 40-minute videos, right? Super valuable, by the way, but 40-minute videos, which is not going to attract an audience on the replay exactly, because those people don't know you yet. And so one of the biggest things that we did with those is change the show flow or the structure of our streams. So I would open it up and I would hang out with the audience for just a few minutes, say hi, get to, do housekeeping or just hang out for a few minutes. Then I would get into the content, and this was planned in advance. I had all my assets put together. I had my show flow put together. Any graphics I wanted to display or screen shares or anything like that was all prepped in advance. And so I would just deliver my video like it was a live to drive, live to tape, recorded video. Didn't answer comments during that section of time. And then I do an end screen, a fake end screen while I'm live, and I point to another video, which is what you said before, drive people to another video, and then I end it, and then I talk to the chat, right? I answer questions, and we hang out after that and continue that conversation. And by the way, a lot of gold is dropped in that part of the conversation, but the replay audience doesn't ever get to see that because it's chopped off to that 5 to 12 minute video that is intentionally done during a live stream for replay people who don't know me yet, who are doing search traffic, right? So that changed our AVD dramatically, or our AVP dramatically. And that was huge. And it really helped on the replay intention.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And what you've done is, like, if someone were to ask me, how should I live stream moving forward into 2022? That's it. That's it. So what I do on my channel, right? The way I do my live streams, they're hangouts, they're community building.
Yeah.
They do not propel my channel forward. They are not, they're not live streams that grow my channel, because I don't make them for the replay. And what you're doing is completely different than what I do. You're intentionally making your live streams for the replay, as well as your current audience who actually watches you live. But the key thing here that I think is amazing is when you go live, you do your hangout at the beginning, then the actual portion where you're not answering comments, you're treating it just like a video. It's not 40 minutes. It's not an hour. It's what, 10 minutes, 12 minutes or something like that. It's something that's consumable, because like what you said, when someone doesn't know you or someone's even restricted on time, asking someone to commit to a 30, 45 minute or 1 hour replay of a live stream, that's a big ask.
Yeah,
that's a really big ask.
And as Lori's, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Lori's Tech Time says that's a great idea to make it replayable. So many live streams seem unnecessary to replay, and that's the key, right? And I want to be very clear here. That is one intention. The community-based, not for growth, is actually a great intention as well. It's just a time and a place, right? It's deciding that this particular stream is for this purpose and this particular stream is for that purpose. One is going to potentially grow your channel, hopefully, right? That's the intention. The other is just to hang out and build that community, which is vital as well. So you don't want to say one is better than the other. It's just about the choice that you're making in that moment and making a strategy around it.
They serve their purpose. I do the same thing with video. Most video creators will do the same thing. We know the videos that will bring subscribers to the channel. We know the videos that will bring us watch time, will bring us views. We also know the videos that will make us money, right? So when we're uploading videos, when I'm looking at my schedule, I'm like, okay, I need these videos to bring in views, watch time, subscribers. These videos are going to bring in money. Those are going to be videos where I'm, I've got affiliate links to something or whatever. So maybe it's a sponsored video, but I'm very intentional about the videos that go up and when those videos go up. The viewer might not recognize that, but from a creator standpoint, if you're on YouTube and you understand how things are being uploaded to the channel, you're going to see that, oh, this is a money video. This is a growth video. Sometimes people say, well, how come a lot of these channels kind of make the same videos? because they know the right levers to pull, right? It could be that that channel could see their views kind of going down, trending down, and they're like, hey, I need to pull the reins back up. So they do a video that's historically proven to do well on their channel. Being intentional. Once again, I think what you're doing is absolutely genius. Let's answer a question right here. This is a great question from London Visited. The question is
Yes.
about to choose which platform to use. What would you suggest, especially with a green screen? So they want to go live and they're figuring out what platform should they stream to.
Depends on where your audience is. First of all, let me break this down. It has nothing to do with green screen, right? Most people probably shouldn't use green screen unless you know what you're doing when it comes to
Yes.
lighting green screen. It is a tricky thing to get and not look amateur. But so I don't think the green screen and the platform go hand in hand. But in terms of what platform that you're choosing to stream on, where's your audience? Are you already creating YouTube videos? Then stream there to engage that audience and go further with them. Or if you're really uncomfortable, I saw somebody earlier in the chat say, like, it's really intimidating. I get it. Live is scary because there's a lot that goes into it and you're really worried about messing up. In order to get past that, one thing you can do is go live on Instagram because those go away after 24 hours and you don't have to worry about it, right? Get used to it. That's one trick, is to just practice streams.
Yeah, that's great advice. I would also say, in addition to that, think about exactly what we're talking about. Are you doing lives with the intention of having replay value?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then you definitely want to be streaming to YouTube. But if you're not so concerned about the replay value, then just stream wherever you want to stream. You can use, there's so many services that can stream to multiple platforms at the same time. We're using StreamYard right now to go live. You can stream to a bunch of different platforms, but there's Restream and there's Ecamm Live, depending on the platform. You can use multiple services to stream up to various platforms at the same time. And like Lori said, I wouldn't worry about the green screen being a factor.
Yeah.
And like she said, unless your lighting is on point, your green screen is going to look pretty bad.
Do what Dee is doing. If you don't have a place, like this is my living room, I have a lot of space here. If you don't have a place to put a set, you're just using a piece of paper and a light back there. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, I've got a single light behind me. What I got here is, you know how you can get the giant, I don't know what they're called. They have the green screens, but they twist down until like a circle. A reflector. They're like a reflector. You probably have one.
Yeah.
I have that now, but it's black.
Okay.
I think it costs like $30. Lean it against the wall, and I got a light shining on it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Perfect. There you go. Okay, let's go down to a couple of questions here. From Wisco Ted says, how much of a live stream should we break into separate videos? Great question. I have a live stream with 5 topics, but those 5 topics were the whole live stream since I had no active viewers yet to do a Q&A.
Whoa, Ted, this is a great question, and I would break those up into individual 5 episodes, right? 5 streams. Just like you do with videos, you don't want to push things down too much down people's throats because it's going to be unconsumable. Unconsumable?
Not bite-sized? I don't know.
Somebody tell me in the comments.
We make up our own words here.
Yeah, totally. It's a word now.
Yeah.
You want it to be consumable. You want it to be. You want people to take something away from that stream, right? So if you go with kind of the thought process that I was talking about before, where you're streaming, and even if you don't have people watching you yet, getting good at delivering that content, ending it, and using that for the replay purpose is totally acceptable. And you can, once people start to bring comments into your live streams, then you can introduce that live chat aspect of it. But right now, just do one topic, end it, right? And live, you do want to, platforms are going to give you benefit when you're longer on their platform when you're live. But that's why I chop mine off, by the way. And I should say that when you do chop it off, you lose the live chat replay. I have begged my contacts at YouTube to please give us.
That's infuriating. Yes.
Give us the ability to keep comments. But we'll see one day, hopefully. That just needed to be said. So yeah, I mean, I would break those up into individual topics, unless you're doing a 5 ways to XYZ, but that's really one topic with 5 things on it, right?
Yeah, so here's another tip. So if you do have, just like you would have with a video, the same thing applies to a live stream, right? If you're doing what Luria did and you're coming back and you're chopping off the beginning and the end where you are talking to your community, or in your case, since you didn't have any active viewers, maybe you started it, you came in strong with your hook and you went through the 5 topics. To get it better optimized for replay, come back and also put chapters in there. And when you're putting chapters in your
Yes.
videos or your live streams, don't just put tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, tip 4. Be intentional with the chapter names, just like you would be intentional with an actual title of a video or a live stream. Reason being is because YouTube is now looking at chapters and they're surfacing chapters for search results. So somebody can search for something, right? How to unclog a toilet, for example. And if one of your chapters is how to unclog a toilet, that particular point of the video could actually be surfaced as a search result for YouTube. So where in the past your video as a whole might not have done well with search results, a particular chapter might end up doing very well. So don't sleep on chapters. I actually need to go back and rechapter a ton of my videos because moving forward, YouTube is putting a lot of emphasis on chapters. So don't sleep on that when it comes to live streams as well.
Really
We got a
good
super
point.
chat. Thank you,
Woo-hoo!
Mastering Mayhem. I appreciate that. Says, I've done a live stream every Saturday this past year. Congratulations, 50 in a row. So I'm
Woo!
talking about, I was doing live giveaways. Is it true YouTube is not fond of giveaways?
I've not heard that. I don't have any data that proves that YouTube is not fond of giveaways. However, I would say, and Dee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that the thing that they don't like is the algorithm wouldn't like is that when you do a giveaway, you can do it really wrong really fast, where you're putting, like, let's say you're giving away an iPad and your audience is plumbers, because we're talking about how to unclog a toilet, which I will not be doing that video. Yeah, everybody likes iPads, but is giving away an iPad going to be something that is going to keep your ideal audience on that channel, right? Are they going to subscribe because they like your content, or are they subscribing just because they want that piece of gear that you're giving away? You need to be more strategic with giveaways. That's what I would say is maybe what you're hearing or picking up with YouTube not liking giveaways. It's just that you can kind of hurt yourself by doing them if you don't do them well. What say you?
I'll go a little bit deeper on that. Everything
Okay.
Gloria just said is absolutely correct. The algorithmic side of that. Okay, so here's the thing. Doing giveaways as a growth strategy is a guaranteed way to fail. So if you are using giveaways for the sole purpose of growing your channel, that's not going to work the way you think it's going to work. The people who are coming to your giveaways, your random giveaways, are there for the product. They're not there for the actual content. They're not there for you, the creator. They're not there for your channel as a whole. They're not there for the community. They're there for the giveaway, right? Now, what happens from an algorithmic standpoint is when you have viewers coming to your channel who are not actually interested in your content, that confuses YouTube. Because the way YouTube will help serve content to people is not only based on the viewers' watch history, what they watch, what they don't watch, what they click, what they don't click on, the devices they watch from, how long they watch from on those devices, but they also group you with other people, audiences who are like you. So if there's an audience, a particular audience group who likes a particular type of content, and you are like them, even though you might not watch that content, YouTube might suggest videos that they are interested in because they've lumped you into that group as a like audience. So when you're bringing people into your live streams or your videos because of giveaways for the purpose of growing your channel, those people aren't interested in your content. So you're confusing YouTube by bringing all those people in. You're confusing the algorithm, which in turn is going to hurt your channel. Now, if you're doing giveaways to your community, the current community, and you're not doing it to grow your channel, right? You're just like, hey, I'm just like me, for example, I have a channel where I help YouTube creators and I help mobile creators and mobile live streamers. If I was giving away something that would help them, that makes sense. right? But I'm not doing it for a growth strategy. I'm doing it to actually help the community. So YouTube is smart enough to understand what's going on there with the giveaway. So I would say if it's growth, stop doing that immediately. You actually hurt yourself in the long run.
Hellabass has a right. Yeah, doing giveaways that for people that are already there to reward them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The bearded IT dad brings the next question. It says, do you edit in YouTube Studio or edit in re-upload? I guess that's for you, Luria.
Great question. So that strategy that I was talking about before, where I do the beginning and end and I trim that out and keep the core content, I do that in YouTube Studio Editor. Well, I don't. My team does. Thank you, team, for doing all the hard
team.
Work.
Right.
But we do that in the Studio Editor because you don't want to download that and then re-upload that, because that's going to also confuse the people, which is going to confuse the algorithm, because people are going to be like, well, I'm not going to click on that new video that just got uploaded because I already watched a video with that title or that subject, right? It just happened. So I don't need to watch that video. And then you're hurting yourself algorithmically. So I would say just use the YouTube editor. Like, you're not going to do any fancy editing, but it's not a great editor by any means, but it's perfectly acceptable for doing that.
It's a bare bones. It's like cutting something with a dull knife. Right?
Yeah.
Gets the job done. You cut it.
Gets the job done.
It gets the job done. It works though. It's working great for you. I mean, you are growing your channel a lot faster now by doing this. So it definitely works.
Yeah, and we also even cut out, let's say I'm doing a tech demo. Let's face it, tech demos live aren't always the best thing. And so sometimes if it goes wrong, right, during the tech demo, then I can just chop out something that went wrong and kind of cut to the core of the actual meat right there.
I love it. So we're going to tackle some more questions here, but before we get into those, I want to talk about something really exciting that Luria has put together. It's called Expand Your Reach. Luria, I'm going to let you take it away and talk about this because this is super, super exciting. And I'm part of it. I'm part of it. So yeah.
Yes, you're speaking, and I'm so thrilled to have you part of this. So people have been asking us to do a virtual summit, a virtual event for quite a while, and I didn't want to do it unless I could do it right and really, really well, and we have accomplished that. So I'm really excited about this. This is all about, it's a 3-day live event that is unlike most events that you've probably ever attended online. It's all about helping you grow your audience and grow your revenue in 2022. We've got speakers, just crazy speakers.
Let's talk about the speakers for a second, because I'm honored to be part of this team. Look at this. All right, I'm going to start from the top. Look at this rundown. Go ahead.
We got Amy Porterfield, Pat Flint, Daryl Eves, come on, Harris Heller, Roberto Blake, Thomas Frank, all about productivity, which is, I gotta say, one of the most important things about being a video content creator. If you don't want to hit burnout, you need to manage yourself. And so that's what Thomas is going to be talking about. Mike Stelzner from Social Media Examiner, Kenya Kelly, all about TikTok. We've got Molly, Renee Ritchie, Epos Vox, Gerald Undone, to big names in the tech space. Dave Wiskus, you may not know his name, but his company represents most of the top YouTubers, including MKBHD, for sponsorships and stuff. So we're going to be talking about sponsorships, which is a huge thing, right? So we've got, we're going to be talking about what it actually takes to grow on YouTube. And just so many amazing speakers here. And my focus is throughout all of the sessions. Like, I'm not a big believer in just learning. I think there's a big problem with learning, to be honest, and that's we just consume and never do. And so what I'll be doing throughout this is taking the information that the speakers are delivering, which is going to be knowledge bomb after knowledge bomb, and helping you organize that into an action plan that's specific to you and your channel. What do you need to focus on? Not what everybody else needs to focus on, but what do you need to focus on? And you'll wind up with an action plan for 2022 for your video content so that you have a step in the right direction. You know what to do and on what to focus on in this year. So I'm really, really excited about this. Dee, thank you so much for participating in this and being a part of it.
Look, this, I mean, I couldn't say no. When you sent this over and I looked at the speaker list, this may be the best speaker list of any online summit yet to date.
You're killing me.
And I know there's some that haven't been announced yet that we were talking about offline. Some really big names that haven't been announced yet. So those will be coming up soon. This is an all-star lineup for this. There's a link in the description. If you want to click on the link and go learn more about it or get your ticket for that, I believe it's still 20% off of your ticket right now if you click on the link below. This is going to be a huge event.
20% off goes away December 31st, so this Friday, so you only have a few more days. But you may not. So the interesting thing about this lineup is that you may not know all of the speaker names, right? And I really wanted that. I was intentional about that because I wanted a wide variety of views. And these are all top YouTubers or top entrepreneurs, best-selling authors, high top level podcasters, and
gamers even. Harris Heller and Epoch
gamers
Rocks.
even,
I mean,
right? Yes, exactly. Harris Heller. I mean, so we've it's a wide variety of the scope, and so even though you don't know the people necessarily from that list, like you may know some of them but not all of them, I'm going to tell you, like, they are the top of top in their industry, and it's really it's going to be really valuable for you.
The one you were telling me about before we went live, when are you announcing that one?
Oh, I think I don't know. I think on the 3rd I'm going to be announcing it, but big name.
Huge name. And I've never seen him speak anywhere.
I know. I was like, you said yes?
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to spill the beans, but I can't.
I know. You can't. Yeah, you can't.
I can't. Okay, look, I know you have to take off. Listen, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to stay on and keep answering questions here.
Oh,
thank you.
Can I answer one more question before I go? Yes,
absolutely.
I have like 3 minutes.
Okay, go.
I don't want to leave.
Is it this one? Well, you don't have to go.
I do, but should I wait until I have a certain amount of subscribers before I do a live stream? Great question. No, because part of live streaming is getting good at live streaming, right? Is that practice. And when you stream where you have very few people watching you, you actually are doing it with a lot less pressure. And so it's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird at first, regardless of who you are, how comfortable you are on camera. Streaming is a different ballgame. And so it comes with a lot more fuzzies in your head or things like questions in your head, right? And so it's great to just kind of get that out and get good at it while you don't have a ton of pressure of like 100 people watching you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I started streaming on my brother's channel, Nick Nimmin, and at the time he had, I think, 150,000 or 200,000 subscribers, and he would average between like 150 to 200 people in the chat. My first live stream was that. It was trial by fire, and I was running the entire thing because we built the studio for Nimmin Live at the time. So I'm running the studio, and I'm live for the very first. I was like a deer in headlights, and I foolishly waited on my own channel. So I was streaming with him, and I thought that's what live streaming was.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to go live on my channel because I was like, what if nobody shows up on my channel? So I actually waited, which was a mistake. I waited until I got 10,000 subscribers to actually start live streaming. And then when I did that, I later found out how amazing it is to have a smaller, intimate live stream. I actually started streaming on Twitch so I can have that intimate experience again where just maybe 5 or 10 people show up. So you can actually speak to every one of them instead of like trying to watch the chat whirling by you at 1,000,000 miles a second. Right. So there's something to be said about a smaller live stream, connecting with that one person, the 2 people, the 3 people. And like you said, you have to learn how to do it. And it's better to learn how to do it in front of 2 people or no people than do it in front of 100 people. Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. The gear is going to fail. That's just part of live streaming.
Okay, I do have to go now, unfortunately. Ted, I will see you at the event. I'm so excited. And thank you guys for letting me hang out with you. If we had planned this better, I would stay as long as I possibly could, as long as you're going to stay.
Yeah,
But some other time.
Yeah, and full transparency. I just can I tell them what happened today? You
Sure.
okay with that? Okay, yeah, because I think you and I
care.
both are very transparent about what happened. So
Yeah.
just to let you know the mistakes that we make. Luria has been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a handful of years now. We've both got a lot of content under our belt. Uh, we had some miscommunication. I think it was on my end when we were talking about doing a live show. I woke up today thinking I was going on her channel. So I opened Twitter to ask her what the link was to join her channel. And I had a message waiting asking her, she was asking me what the link was to come into my channel. And I thought I didn't have it planned. So I think I dropped the ball on this. So it happens. Mistakes happen at all levels.
Happen. Absolutely.
It happens at all levels.
They do. And you are welcome on my channel anytime, you know that.
Thank you. But the important thing is that because we have the experience of doing this, it took no time at all to put together a thumbnail, come up with a topic, just go live and just kind of, figure it out on the fly. But that's what experience will give you, is the ability to do that. So Laura, thank you so much. I'm super excited to be part of your summit. I'm honored to be part of the summit. Again, there's a link down in the description below, and Luria has to take off, but I'm going to continue to answer questions. Thank you.
Okay. Have fun, you guys. Bye.
Have an awesome day and happy holidays, Luria.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. I always love having her on. Okay, moving on to the next question. David says, how concerned should we be if go live and we have no visitors or viewers community? I think what Lori and I were just talking about in terms of streaming to no one or streaming to one person or even to zero, I think that's fine, because you have to understand the gear. You have to know what to do when the gear fails, because the gear is going to fail. Things are going to go wrong. Your internet's going to crap out on you when you least expect it. Your mic is going to break when you least expect it. A cable is going to go bad. Like, live happens, and you have to learn how to deal with that. And you also have to learn how to get comfortable in front of the camera and how to keep the communication, how to keep the conversation moving, even though you might be running out of things to say. So one thing that I like to recommend for people who are just getting started, depending if you're old school, if you're new school, open up a notes app or just grab a piece of paper or a napkin even, and grab a Sharpie. Always keep one of these around, and just write down 5 things to talk about, right? These are the 5 things we're going to talk about today during this live stream. That way you can treat it like a video. So if no one shows up, treat it just like a video. Go live, start with a really strong hook at the beginning, let them know what the video is about, and get right into the topics. And the reason it's important to have that note, be it old school paper or a note app, is to keep you on track. So if your brain starts to panic a little bit, and it's really easy for your brain just to blank out when you're live streaming, that will kind of help you. If you kind of, if you get off track, you look at your notes. Okay, this is the next thing that I'm going to talk about. And when you're finished with those 5 things, wrap up the live stream, right? You don't have to do an hour-long live stream. You can do a 10-minute live stream. You can do a 5-minute live stream. You can do 50. It's up to you. So I think it's important that you just start going live, learn the process, learn the gear, and the people will come. Wisco Ted says, D, thank you. Follow-up question. By the way, I'm just going down the chat here in the order that they came in. And if you're wondering where I'm at, if you find this question, you'll know. Follow-up question. Should we leave the whole stream replay public and still break up the video into separate videos? You can do that. You can take the Joe Rogan approach or the Lewis Howes approach to whoever you watch there. They'll have the full length video up for people who want, long form content. And depending on the type of stream that you're doing, there's a thing called passive listening. So some people want to actually be engaged with the stream, with what, in the community that's happening in the live chat. Some people want to passively listen and just have you on in the background while they do something else. Maybe they're cleaning the house or they're cooking something or working out or whatever. They're listening to you passively in the background. So you can leave that up. You can also break it down into shorter chunks of content. You can also take those shorter chunks of content and break them down even further, under 1 minute, and you can put them up, just true nuggets that go up on the YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Triller or Instagram or another short form platform. If you're not sure how to do that, look at Lewis Howes. Look at Lewis Howes and look at what he's doing across social media. He's a great example of really leveraging all the content that he has and getting it out there across all the other platforms. The baby's booty says, I can't figure out chapters. Okay, so all you have to, maybe I should make a video about chapters. Show of hands, how many people in the chat do not know how to make chapters for the videos or live streams? Just say yes if that's you. I'm curious. It's something I never actually thought about. I can make a video to show you how to do it. It's really easy. All you do is just go down into your description and you just write out the actual timestamp. Let me find one of my videos here where I use chapters, and I'm way behind on these. I need to go through and let me see if I can find a chaptered video. And I will say this: YouTube has started auto chaptering videos, but those are not going to be as good as your own chaptered videos. It's kind of like auto captions on YouTube. They do them, but they're not so precise. Let me see if I actually have a chaptered video that I can show you here. Give me a second. I'm looking at my own videos right here to see what I can show you. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is how you don't do chapters. This was a test that I was actually running. So let me share this. Hold on one second. So this is how you don't title them. Share screen. This is how you number them, but this is not how you title them. So you can see right here, this is how you actually write the chapters, right? Put the number. That number is going to line up with the actual playlist here. This is the number that you're looking at, the time number. You put the number down. Now, this is not what you want to do as a description for the chapters. I was doing this as a test, and I actually need to come back and change those. What you want to do is be very specific. Let me put this full screen for you. What you want to do is be very specific about the titles that you're putting in there. Treat your chapters just like you would a video title, because these titles are going to start showing up on YouTube search. They're already showing up on Google. They've been showing up on Google for a while, where Google will take a specific chapter that you have, and it will show that chapter as a search query. So use the number markings there, but not the actual titles themselves. I'm moving down here. Hey, Red Dirt Picker says, I had no idea chapters were searchable. Yeah, I haven't actually seen any yet. I just know that YouTube is working on it, and they said it's coming soon. I don't know. There may be some people who had this feature already, because YouTube likes to roll out test features with different audiences around the world. So some people might have it. I just know that it's coming, and that's huge. That is huge. So where you normally might not have a video that ranks well with search, you might have a chapter that ranks incredibly well for search. So all the more reason that to use the chapters. Let me see here. Scrolling down here. Hey, Grub Mud, how you doing? Scrolling. I'm looking for the. Hey, Sweeney Dunstan, how you doing, my man? Nice to see you in here. Happy holidays to you. Hello Bass says, I do giveaways to reward the people that are already there. That's the way to do it. That is exactly the way to do it. Stopping by to say hello and to absorb great information. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Trying to see what are the questions here. Okay, this is a normal thing here. I'm kind of scared to live stream because I might mess up. I use a teleprompter to help me record my video. Without it, I get lost in thought. Okay, well, what I was just talking about, having a piece of paper, right? Teleprompt. Okay, if you, I don't know what type of content you're making specifically. You're talking, your channel name is Amazingly Fit and Healthy. So I'm going to guess that the tips you could give somebody would be tips that you have up here that you don't actually have to read off of the teleprompter. So you can write these down. The problem with the teleprompter when you're live streaming is it's going to sound like you're reading off a teleprompter, right? Even if you watch the evening news or the morning news, they read off of a teleprompter. Most of them do, and it sounds like they're reading off a teleprompter. So unless you have a channel where you want it to sound like a news network, or it's a very technical channel where you have to be very precise about the information that you're sharing, I don't recommend having a teleprompter. Get a piece of paper, get a Sharpie, write some notes down, and go live. You are going to mess up. You are going to mess up. We all mess up. Lurie and I messed up today. I trip over my words all the time. I say the wrong thing all the time. It's part of the process, right? You just have to get over the fear and start doing it. You're going to mess up. You have to get comfortable with messing up. right? You just have to accept the fact, hey, I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to stutter. I'm going to trip over my words. My brain's going to click off, right? When your brain shuts off, that's where your piece of paper comes in handy. Everybody messes up. It's part of the process, but you will get better. The summit is going to be great, Sammy says. Yes, it is. That is an all-star cast. Bison American Clubs has never heard of this one. You should. Luria Petrucci is the grand poobah of live streaming. If you want to learn the best ways to live stream, how to build a community, I've got a link to her channel down in the description below. She's incredible at what she does. Best in the business. Hey, Justin, nice to see you, man. Okay, I'm still, this is how far back I am in the chat right now. Whoa, what a lineup. Holy cow, this is like YouTube All-Stars. It even looks amazing. Right on. Trying to catch up here. Is there a certain amount of time you should live stream? No, there is no rule on live streaming. Live stream like a video, right? A video should be as long as it needs to be. Same as going live. Your live stream should be as long as it needs to be. If that's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15, however long it needs to be. You're going to figure out through trial and error when your audience starts to lose interest. And don't feel like you have to keep going live. Like, oh, I need to do an hour live stream because everybody else does an hour live stream. That's not a good way to move forward. Make it as long as it needs to be. If it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes, and that's perfectly acceptable. Baby's booty. I've been rocking with you since day one of your live. Yes, you have. And I appreciate you so much. Let me see. Time zone mix-up. Are you talking about Luria and I with them? No, I thought I was streaming on her channel. She thought she was streaming on my channel. I think that was my doing on that one. Renee Ritchie's in the house, ladies and gentlemen, who will also be speaking at the summit. Renee, how excited are you? We just got a couple of days, 2 days till the Book of Boba. Just nobody send me messages or call me or anything when the Book of Boba comes out. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm still taking questions here. Here we go. Joe's Firewood Video says, do you have an iPhone 10 and I live stream every Sunday? For some reason yesterday, the camera would run on a vertical position and it's still going. Any suggestion on how to fix that? Without looking at your phone, it's hard to give you advice on that because there are a couple things. But the first thing I always look at in the event that happens to me is you want to make sure you see that little icon right there, the lock feature. Make sure that's set in the right direction, right? Put it horizontally and then lock that. If that's not locked, your phone is automatically going to switch orientation based on how you're holding the phone. So without actually looking at your phone, that would be the first thing that I would recommend. And I don't know what platform you're actually using to stream with. So with limited information, that would be the first place that I would look. Question, are you guys operating solo right now during your live stream or do you have anyone monitoring the chat? So I've been running this entire stream myself using StreamYard. I'm watching the chat. I'm putting comments on the screen. I'm switching the screens between myself and Luria. I shared the screen. I'm doing everything myself. StreamYard is a fantastic service that easily allows you to do that. The only thing about monitoring the chat yourself, this is where moderators can come in handy too. If people get out of line, the moderators can warn them or they can show them the door. But generally speaking, you want to have eye contact with the camera when you're speaking. And anytime you're going to look at the chat, you are going to break that eye contact. And that's fine. That's fine. That's not a deal breaker. But, you know, that's just something to be aware of. And that's okay, right? It's live. People are a lot more forgiving during a live stream than they are a recorded video. Sometimes having no live viewers help to have a clean piece of content for replay viewers with zero interruptions, right? Absolutely. And like I said before, I think there's something really cool about live streaming to a smaller, intimate audience. It's the whole reason I started streaming over on Twitch, right? I really, and I haven't been doing it much because I've been busy, but I really enjoy doing the Twitch streams. Sometimes 5 people show up or 10 people show up and you can communicate with every single person in there. And that's amazing because you will get to the point where the chat will get so big as your channel grows, you can't speak to everyone and you will miss people as they come in. Can I get hired to troll new YouTubers? Give them thicker skin. Yeah, you know what? We live in a day and age where, I don't know, people don't want thick skin anymore. 10 years ago, I would have said yes. These days, you just get a participation trophy. That's hilarious. Sweeney Dunstan says, panic will happen, but you can pull through it. Your audience usually is more forgiving than you can imagine. Exactly, man. It's spot on. Spot on with that. Your audience is very forgiving. Venom, how you doing, man? It says, thank you. Your advice. I'm doing a lot better on my YouTube channel. I'm glad to hear it. I hope 2022 is an awesome year for you. We got a super chat. David, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. You need to drop a sound effect in here.
Super chat.
If that wasn't too loud. Let me see. Hey, Annette, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. Beth says, I've added chapters to a few of my videos. Yeah, I need to go back myself and add them to a lot of my videos. I'm not going to touch videos that are still getting views. I have the mentality of when something's working, I don't touch it. But for videos that have, the views have tapered off and they're no longer getting a lot of views, I'll go back and I'll chapter those properly. I just haven't had the time to do it yet. Hey, Shelly, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. I've made a video about creating chapters. It's easier than people think. There you go. So you can go over and subscribe to Shelly Saves the Day. She has an amazing channel. She's also a YouTube educator. She also works over at TubeBuddy. So if you got questions about TubeBuddy, you can haunt her on social media. Another awesome creator. Josephine, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. Thank you for stopping by. Happy holidays to you. Okay, here's a great question. Will it hurt my average view duration if people only watch one chapter of my videos? Okay, this is a tricky question. In the past, you might lean into that and say, well, yes, maybe. These days, YouTube is putting a lot of weight on what they call audience satisfaction, right? How many people in the chat right now have had the little pop-up happen after you've watched a video where it says, how did you like this video? And you can rank it on stars, right? YouTube is really looking at viewer satisfaction. So instead of thinking about, will this hurt my average view duration, think more about, is the viewer satisfied with my video? And if the viewer can quickly find what they're looking for, it's going to increase the likelihood that they're going to actually come back to your channel and possibly subscribe to your channel and become part of your community. So moving forward into 2022, I would think less in terms of, will this hurt my average view duration, or will this change or change that, and really focus everything on intentionality and making the viewer happy, giving the viewer what they want, give them what they clicked for. So no, it's not going to hurt your channel. YouTube's not going to give us that ability to add chapters. They're not going to put so much emphasis on chapters and surface chapters through search results and through Google if it's actually going to hurt your video. The tools YouTube gives us as creators, it's all to help us grow our channel and to better connect with the community. I'm going through the chat here. I keep making content, but like, how do I make sure my videos are discoverable? Okay, well, that's actually a great question. Without looking at your channel, I don't know the type of content that you're making, but I would say this. You have to understand traffic sources on YouTube. YouTube has three major traffic sources. You have browse traffic, which is basically your homepage traffic. When you open up YouTube, the first set of videos that you see, and you can scroll down and continue to see others, that's browse traffic. That's where you're going to find the fastest growth, but that's also the hardest place to get traffic. Then you have suggested traffic. Suggested traffic is when YouTube recommends to you a video to watch next. It could be at the end of another video or in the sidebar of another video. Hey, watch this video next, right? That's suggested. You can also suggest your own videos by putting links in your own description to your other videos. And then you have search traffic, and that's where people use YouTube like a search engine. They go to YouTube and search for things like how to unclog my toilet, or I would search for how to hire a plumber because I'm not going to unclog my toilet, right? So you have to understand your traffic sources, and you have to look at your type of content, and you have to ask yourself, what type of content am I making and where does it fit in? If you're making tutorial based or how-to type content, you will probably end up getting a lot of search traffic, and it would be helpful if you created titles in a way where people can actually find those titles in a way that they're actually searching for them, right? If you go to YouTube and you start typing in keyword specific phrases, YouTube is going to give you a drop down. Those those queries that you see, and the same thing works for Google. Those are actual videos and ideas that people are searching for. So without looking at your channel, I can't get too specific, but start paying attention to how things are titled when they're on your homepage versus how they're titled when they're suggested to you versus how they're titled when you search for something, right? Start being mindful of other videos that are succeeding in your niche and look at how they're titling things. Look at the thumbnails they're making. Look at how they're writing their descriptions and look at how they're structuring their videos. Hey, super chat.
Super Chat.
Thank you, Josephine. If I throw money at you, will you pole dance for us? That's a whole other site. That's another channel on another site. So we don't do that on YouTube. So you're throwing money at the wrong channel. Hey, Giorgio, how you doing? Hey, Mark, how you doing? Man, nice to see you. Presentation versus reading, there's a big difference. Yeah, you're talking about the teleprompter while going live. Absolutely. Shelly says we all mess up. We just get more comfortable with rolling with it. That's the main thing with being a creator, right? You have to get comfortable with screwing up. And that was a really difficult thing for me to get over. I come from a world where I was doing production for other people, video production for other people and advertising for other people. We couldn't make mistakes doing that. So getting in front of the camera, I had to get comfortable with knowing that I'm going to say the wrong thing, knowing I'm going to phrase something incorrectly, knowing that my grammar is going to get messed up. So it's just part of the process. And people understand that. You might get, one or two people here or there might say something, and that's okay. You have to get comfortable with messing up. And as soon as you do that, as soon as you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to mess up and I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm just going to do my thing. The faster you can get to that point, the better chance you have it succeeding on YouTube. Red dirt picker, right? I see I trip over my words all the time. Question. So I'm assuming it's better to create the chapters that line up with your keywords. Is there a limit to how long the chapter text can be? One thing that I would do, okay, always optimize your channel for mobile first. So I'm just going to randomly click on a video here. So here's Brian G. Johnson. I'm just going to randomly pull something up here. So when you write your chapters, just look at it on a phone. I'm not a big fan of line breaks, right? Like have your chapter and then write a keyword rich title, right? Just like you're talking about there, a keyword rich title, just like you would title your video. But I would, just for the sake of aesthetics, make sure it's like on one line on a mobile device. The line breaks look ugly on a mobile device, right? I mean, just not to pick on Brian here. I love Brian, and it happens to all of us, and sometimes you can't help it. But look at how the links get broken up here at the top. It's just not aesthetically pleasing versus the links at the bottom where he has, like YouTube Tool Morning Fame, then he has a link on the additional line. It just looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing. So that's why I would do that, setting things up for chapters. Chapter, keyword rich title that looks good on a mobile device. Because most people, depending on your niche, will be looking at your content on a mobile device, specifically a phone. Though that is changing a little bit with smart TVs are actually gaining traction with more people streaming YouTube to their smart TV. If he sets a price, I'll help with that. I mean, it's we can get the poll out. We can do the poll. Let's see here. What are the statistics on live streaming versus planned out videos? Are you talking about the analytics when it's finished, or are you talking about overall viewership? If you can clarify that, I'll keep an eye out for it in the chat. Sweeney says, y'all, a fact I can personally, you can tell you're from the Midwest, right? Y'all, a fact I can personally share. Sometimes when you S up in your streams, the audience gets way more engaged, more chat happens with people having a good time and helping. This is on point. And I'll say this. I know, and I've done it myself because it was actually told to me early on. Sometimes people make mistakes in their videos on purpose in order to drive engagement. So it's a little engagement trick. They don't say something that makes them look incompetent, but they say something incorrect that's just enough to trigger the people watching to go down, because people love to tell you that you're wrong, right? People love to tell you that you said something wrong. So it's an engagement tactic. I don't recommend doing it a lot, but that is something that you can do. People love to tell you when you mess up. They love it. Not so much during a live stream, but during recorded videos. YouTube gave me one strike. I can't show much or talk about stuff anymore. Did they give you a copyright claim or a content ID claim, or did they give you an actual strike? Here's the thing. If you're using content or music that you're not allowed to use, or you don't have a license to use that, you do risk getting a copyright claim or a content strike like this, a copyright strike. Claims don't hurt your channel. You don't want them, but claims don't hurt your channel. What that means is the owner of that video or the music, they will claim the revenue. If you are monetized, they'll take any revenue from that video. If you're not monetized and you become monetized, they will take the revenue from that video. A strike means that they want that offline. If you get 3 strikes, I believe it's within a 90-day period, YouTube will terminate your channel. You want to avoid strikes. So Giorgio, if you're taking video clips or music from places you don't have a license to use them, be careful, because you will get more strikes for that. We don't want you to lose your channel. How does one have someone help with comments during a live? Like have someone filter the important comments and notify you somehow? This is a really great question. So you can add moderators to your channel. And currently, the way YouTube is set up through live streaming, moderators can hide people, they can remove messages, they can kick people out of your chat, they can hide people from your channel, ban them from your channel. So you want to make sure that your moderators are a trusted source. However, I can't spill the beans just yet, but there is a service that is coming out probably in the next 60 days, I believe, that will allow you to have moderators actually come in, pick chats from the chat and show them to you, and basically hand off questions to you and have a more interactive experience with your moderators in another platform while you're streaming on YouTube. I'll talk more about this when I can talk about it, but there's a really cool service coming for that. Let me see. Hey, Karis Lonson vlog. Hey, watching from Arizona. I love Arizona. I have family in Prescott Valley, Arizona. I pre-pandemic, I would go there, once or twice a year. Happy holidays to you too. They're great, I guess. The consensus is that they're great. Thanks for asking. Oh my goodness. We'd love to start live streaming soon. What app do you recommend for beginners? This is a great question, Diana. I'm sorry, Dine with Sonia. Apologies. If you're using a computer, I think the easiest way to get up live streaming is using StreamYard. That's what I'm using right now. StreamYard is browser-based. So if you're using Chrome, for example, that's what I stream with. You just connect your camera and your microphone and you're up and running. You can use StreamYard for free up to 20 hours per month for free. I got a link to them down in the description below. If you're streaming with a mobile device, I would recommend using Prism Live Studio. If you head over to my video tab here on my channel, I have multiple videos about Prism Live Studio. It is a live streaming app, which is totally free, and it's a very basic video editor. So that's a great way to get up and live streaming on a phone. You can also use StreamYard on a browser on your phone as well. And I've heard there's an app in the works for StreamYard. But until that comes out, I would say Prism is probably easier than using a browser on your phone, because when you use a browser to live stream on a phone, you have limited controls to what you can do with your camera versus using an app. You have more controls over your cameras. You can add filters to your camera. You can scribble on the screen. You can put overlays on top of your footage, so on and so forth. On a browser-based live stream on your phone, you can't do that. Grub Mud. Thumbnails. Where is the best place to learn graphic design and how to make better thumbnails? Fantastic question. If you're just getting started at making thumbnails, I think canva.com and placeit.net are the best places to get started with thumbnails. You start with a template that someone else has already designed for you. I'm not sure how many free thumbnails placeit.net has. I do have a video on this on my channel where I show you how to make an intro. So if you want to understand the basics of Placeit, Canva, I believe, does have more free options for making thumbnails and channel art. So you start with someone else's template. and then you can tweak it to make it your own. You can change the text, you can add your own images. And I think the best thing in terms of trying to figure out how to make a better thumbnail is to study the videos in your niche that are already succeeding, right? Look at the bigger channels in your niche and study their thumbnails. And don't just study their thumbnails, look at their titles. Look at how they use keyword phrases or don't use keyword phrases in their titles. Is it a really compelling title? Mr. Beast is the king of compelling, right? Last hand off the car wins the new car. That's a very compelling title versus how to live stream with your iPhone, right? Those are two totally different titles, and they're going to end up with totally different traffic sources. So study the bigger channels in your niche, look at the thumbnails, and use something like Canva to get started. It's a lot easier to build off of a template than it is to start with a blank canvas where you're not really sure what to do. And by the way, if you're doing this on a phone, I have a couple videos on my channel in the videos tab. They're older videos where I show you how to make a thumbnail using your phone with a couple of different apps. Roger's, is he really? So Roger Wakefield is the expert plumber. That's hilarious because we're talking about unclogging toilets. Roger's awesome. Antonio, what is going on, my man? Nice to see you in here. Hey, man, happy holidays to you and your family. I hope you're doing well. Always, always, Josephine. Nope, no dancing here. Would you consider SEO when titling a chapter? I wouldn't consider SEO, but I mean, keyword rich titles is SEO, but I wouldn't think in terms of SEO. I would think about, okay, what's my video about? What's this part of the video about that I'm going to chapter? And then just use a phrase to where if somebody, let's just say, for example, I have a video on let's say best live streaming accessories for mobile phones. Best live streaming accessories for mobile phones. That's a bit of a mouthful, but let's say that's my title. I'm just winging this here. So what I would do is I would go through, so every new accessory that I'm going to talk about would have its own chapter, and then I would have that keyword phrase. So maybe one of the things I'm going to talk about is the Rode Wireless Go microphone, right? So that Rode Wireless Go microphone would be in that title of the actual chapter itself. How to connect, if I show you how to connect it, for example, how to connect Rode Wireless Go to iPhone, something like that. Or you technically, you just put in like, Rode Wireless Go if you wanted to. Use that keyword phrase. I mean, that is SEO, but I just wouldn't think so. I wouldn't overthink it. Just think about, what am I talking about? What's the main keyword phrase that I want to target here? What would someone search for? And if someone was searching for it, what keyword phrase would they search for? And then put that in there. I wouldn't overthink it too much. Like if people think about tags and people overthink their tags too much, and tags do the same thing, right? Just make them relevant to your video. If I'm making short YouTube consistently, YouTube shorts, I'm guessing, will it be better than making normal content video? Okay, I'm thinking you're talking about making YouTube shorts. Who's making YouTube shorts? I'm curious how many people in the chat are making YouTube shorts. Here's the thing with YouTube shorts. YouTube shorts, if you're getting a response with YouTube shorts, will generally get you in front of new audiences that don't know you exist. The problem with YouTube shorts, as a lot of people are finding out now that everyone is making YouTube shorts, is it's very difficult now to actually gain any traction with YouTube shorts. And if you do get traction with YouTube shorts, it seems to be very short-lived. I get comments all the time under my shorts videos where I talk about YouTube shorts, where people say, hey, my short video, I got like, 1,000 views or 10,000 views for like 2 days, and then it just died off. That happens with YouTube shorts. YouTube is rotating short videos through the YouTube short shelf that do well. So if you have a video that should go up in the short shelf and it does well, they might leave it in there for a couple of hours or a day or two, and then they take it out. It may come back in or it may not come back in, right? Alternatively, your YouTube short also lives outside of the YouTube short shelf. So if you are making YouTube shorts, you need to make the short and treat them as a standalone video as well, because you can get search traffic, you can get suggested traffic, you can get browse traffic from a YouTube short and external traffic while at the same time getting short shelf traffic. Is it a good strategy to grow your channel? It could be. If you're making YouTube shorts that are very successful, every time you upload a short, it goes into the short shelf and you're getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views, then it's probably going to be a really good way to grow your channel. But if you're just teetering out there at 100 views or 50 views or 500 views and then just disappears and never comes back, I don't think that's a solid strategy. Get comfortable with screwing up. Absolutely. Anyone who's been on the platform for any amount of time will tell you, you have to get comfortable with making mistakes and understanding that you're not going to say everything perfectly. Scully's House of Thrillers. How you doing, my man? Nice to see you in here. Happy holidays to you. Adam's Exploits. Happy holidays to you too. Nice to see you. Title your chapters like you would a video. Yeah, exactly. But I would just make them a little bit shorter so they look aesthetically pleasing on a mobile device. I'm all about the aesthetics. Let me see. Thank you so much, D. As always, your info is right on the money. Appreciate you always willing to sling great an info slinger. That's what I do. I appreciate you hanging out with us today. Annette, thank you so much.
Super Chat.
Thanks for all your help with my first live stream. So glad I became a channel member. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you too. For those of you who don't know, Annette came on and actually did a live stream with me before her first ever live stream. She was just nervous about what to do and how to do things, and she handled it like an absolute pro. This is one of the situations where it's super easy to talk yourself out of doing a live stream or overly complicating a live stream, letting your fears get the best of you when you just need to just do it. Just do it and it's going to work out. She did an amazing job on her first stream. Zane, my man, how you doing? According to the Wall Street Journal, TikTok is the most browsed website, even beating Google. Any comments? I'm not surprised. If anyone has been part of my channel for the past year and a half, I have been telling everyone to get on TikTok. Now, I know TikTok got a really bad rap early on, but if you dig deeper into that, you will see that it's political. And there were 51 apps doing the exact same thing that TikTok was doing, including LinkedIn. But because of where TikTok originates from, it turned into a political thing, and TikTok took the brunt of that backlash. TikTok is an absolute powerhouse. And if you're not on TikTok, you're going to get left behind. I still think there's plenty of room for opportunity over on TikTok. Especially if you're making YouTube shorts, if you're uploading content to Facebook or Instagram Reels, you're already making short form content, you might as well upload that to TikTok as well. Don't upload TikTok videos to YouTube, right? You never want to upload something that's got the watermark to another platform. A lot of people make that mistake. And you don't want to use the music from one of those apps and put it into another app. So what you want to do is record your video in your phone and then upload it to each individual platform. And if you're going to use the music from that platform so you don't end up with copyright issues. Now, TikTok is currently beating YouTube in terms of most watch time per viewer. It's beating YouTube. And it is the most browsed website, beating Google, apparently, according to new information. TikTok's a juggernaut. Ignore them at your own peril. Like if you're like, hey man, I'm struggling on YouTube, I can't build momentum, I can't get things moving, go over to TikTok. I've sent plenty of people over to TikTok who were struggling on YouTube, and they've blown up huge channels and communities over on TikTok. In turn, they take those communities and they send them back over to YouTube, and they jumpstart their YouTube channel that they currently couldn't get traction on. So you can use TikTok purely for their traffic, right? You can use them to build a standalone community over there, or you can use it to springboard some of those people back over to YouTube. Sleep on TikTok at your own peril. Made a video on live TV and Media Lounge, got strikes. Yep, that will happen. Oh, that's right, man. Thank you so much. StreamYard now has the ad. I haven't used it yet. So I'm sponsored by StreamYard. And I should have mentioned this. So StreamYard does have an admin feature right now. It's fairly basic, but yes, can I show this in here? Hold on. Let me see if I can show this. Give me a second. I can't believe I forgot that. No, I can't do that I can't show that while I'm streaming right here. Adam, thank you. I'm ashamed of myself. Yeah, they've got a very basic admin system where people can actually come in and assist with your live stream. The reason this uh, the reason this feature exists is because there's a thing called live stream producers. So live stream producers will run your live stream for you. So let's say I wanted to go live and I just wanted to speak. All I want to do is just speak and communicate. I don't want to look at the chat. I don't want to deal with changing overlays. I don't want to deal with putting comments on the screen. All I want to do is look at the camera and just communicate and just whatever it is, tell my story, teach, educate, whatever that's going to be. You can bring in a live stream producer who will manage your chat, who will manage your overlays, who will bring the guest in. They'll click on everything for you. So all you have to do is just talk, right? Think of it like a news network where the news anchors, they sit at a desk and they speak. They don't have to do anything else. That's what a live stream producer does. And StreamYard has its own, there's a community within a community of just live stream producers that you can hire to actually run your shows for you. And I'm just ashamed of myself for forgetting that they just added that recently. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. StreamYard's fantastic. Question: if you do a reaction video, how do you avoid the strike if you post their content and react to it? Reaction videos are dicey. Here's the thing with content ID and copyright in general. If you do a reaction video, the company, let's say you're reacting to a movie trailer. Let's say you're reacting to the Book of Boba Fett, which is coming out in 2 days, and I can't wait. And you're doing a reaction to that video. It's entirely up to Disney, who owns that clip, to issue a copyright claim or issue a copyright strike on your video. It could be something automatic, or it could be something that they come in later and they issue. Now, you can dispute that claim with YouTube. And you say, hey, there's a thing called fair use, where it's kind of how the news gets away with showing that sort of thing, right? There's a whole rabbit hole of fair use. And instead of getting into that, I would recommend going following a YouTube channel by a lawyer by the name of Ian Corzine. Ian Corzine has multiple videos on copyright and fair use. And I believe he covers some reaction videos as well. That's a deep rabbit hole that you want to go into. So you can get a copyright claim. You can get a copyright strike from the actual owner of the content. You can dispute that with YouTube, and that dispute is then going to be shown to Disney. For example, if Disney were the ones who issued the claim or the strike, then they will come in and look at it and they will decide, okay, this is legit fair use, or we are going to strike this video. Reaction videos are risky, right? Some people build channels and they're very successful. Some people get a lot of strikes. It depends on how you set it up. I highly recommend, if you are doing reaction videos, go subscribe to Ian Corzine. Let me find him real quick and show you. So make sure you're following the right gentleman. I'm going to show his channel really quick. He has plenty of videos, and he does live streams too. So you can do, a Q&A thing with him. Ian Corzine, lawyer for online creators. Oh, he's covering a lot of stuff about the metaverse now. Beginner's Guide to NFT legal issues, Creator Lawyer Live, popular uploads. Here you go. You want to go look at video. He's got a couple things like this, right? Fair use on YouTube. How to use music on Instagram without copyright, right? He's got a bunch of really good videos on this stuff. So go follow him and watch the videos that are relevant to your questions. Dia was trying to use OBS for screen recording, and my test footage was fine. And then I watched my video back and it was a black screen all the way. Do you know some trustworthy screen recorders? It was probably a codec issue if you came up with a black screen. I know this sounds silly, but you could reinstall OBS. You could also have you restarted your computer. Believe it or not, that fixes 70% of the problems. You can also use Streamlabs, which is based off of OBS, which they took their open source code and did it that way. Those are going to be the free options. You can go with a paid option like Camtasia. It is on the pricier end, and they probably just had a Black Friday. They might even have a holiday deal. I don't know. Look to see if they have a Christmas deal for Camtasia. I use Camtasia. Camtasia never fails. It's pricey, but you get what you pay for. I've been using Procreate to make my thumbnail. Yeah, that's fantastic too. If you have an iPad specifically, that's a fantastic app. Construction cronies, what is going on, man? Happy holidays to you. Gulf Coast Granny, how you doing? You're two-timing. What? Oh, are you in Rogers stream as well? Ludo. I'm not sure what Ludo is. All right, I'm trying to catch up here in the chat. Is there another way to get in front of my audience? D. It seems my videos tend to travel in a smallish circle of the same folks. Yeah, make a broad video. So there's a problem that niche creators have, and I've done the same thing with my channel. It's really easy to paint yourself in the corner and niche yourself down too much to where you only appeal to a specific audience, and it's really hard to break out of that. What you need to do is really think long and hard about, okay, this is the type of content that I make. What would appeal to a broad audience, right? Stop thinking about how can I cater to my niche specifically. Start thinking about what would cater to a broad audience. You need to start tossing those videos out there, start planting those seeds. You know, if you upload 4 videos a month, make one of those videos a video that would appeal to a wider audience, something that's not so niche. It's within your niche, but it's not so niche down. If I'm not mistaken, you were doing gardening content, homemade. I mean, I apologies. I want to say, because I think I remember you're doing some gardening stuff and homemade recipes with what you're digging out of your garden. Those are pretty broad. I would also recommend you to get on TikTok, upload shorts, go on Instagram, Instagram Reels, upload to Triller, right? It just might be that YouTube has painted you into a corner because your content is fairly broad already, but YouTube could have painted you into a corner. They can do that. Put your content up on these other platforms, learn how to make short, really informational videos that are under a minute long. You will find, especially with YouTube Shorts, if you can get some traction there, those videos will get shown out to new people who don't know you exist. If you're not into short form content, if you don't like it, it's still a great way to get your videos in front, to get your name or your brand in front of people who don't know you exist. It's a different algorithm. You'll get your exposure and usually disappear. If you're talking about YouTube Shorts, absolutely. Very few people, I mean, some people are building very successful Shorts channels, but the average person isn't building a very successful standalone Shorts channel. Some people are, the majority of people are not. I think the people who are not, I think there could be strategy issues involved there. There could be issues with consistency. I think it is possible because there are some people who are doing it. But generally speaking, your short goes up and then your short comes down, unless it's a very, very good video. We have a new channel member.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Go Johnny Go 2001. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. If you go to my community feed, you're going to see posts there just for channel members. In one of those posts, you are going to see a link to a private Facebook group. Go ahead, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and join that. Make sure when it asks what your channel name is, put that in there. And it's not a very active channel group, but it's a place where if you have any questions whatsoever about thumbnails, about your video, about YouTube, I check in every couple of days and answer any questions you might have there. My shorts grow a lot off the shelf, exactly, but stay on the short shelf for months. Okay, then you must have really good videos that people are responding to. See, that's the thing. The video is always king. Content is always king. If you make a short or if you make a video, people upload shorts and they say, because they watch my videos on shorts, things you're doing wrong with YouTube Shorts or why your YouTube Shorts aren't getting views. And they say, well, I've uploaded the short. I did everything you said and nobody's watching them. It's because your video is not good, right? I hate to be the person to say that, but if people are not responding to your video, it's usually because of one of two things. One, YouTube doesn't understand your audience, but that's not as important with YouTube Shorts because they will put your shorts out in front of all types of different audiences, right? So it could be the audience issue, but it's more than likely, based on my experience of looking at countless channels when looking at their data, it's usually because you made a video that people do not positively respond to. It doesn't matter if you think it's a good video. It doesn't matter if, hey, I poured my heart into this 30-second. It doesn't matter. The algorithm doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care. All YouTube cares about when it comes to your videos, shorts, long form content, The only thing it cares about is how do people respond to that content and are they satisfied? That's it, right? Yeah, there are metrics involved, click-through rate when it comes to long-form content, average view duration. There's absolutely metrics involved. But to sum it all up, are people positively reacting to this content? If it's yes, they're going to keep showing you love. If it's no, that video is going to sink to the bottom of the sea, the YouTube sea where it gets lost. Shelly loves TikTok. Shelly's the one who got me on TikTok. Yeah. Let's see what other questions. I'm way behind here on questions. Moving through. Question: how often should you post on TikTok? TikTok is one of those platforms where you post as much as you want. Some people post multiple times a day. Some people post once a day. Some people post once a week. Some people post just a couple times a month. You're going to have to post there and figure out for yourself how your audience is going to respond to your content. Like anything else, think of upload schedules on TikTok or even on YouTube as fishing, right? If you got one pole, one hook, one bait, you throw it in the water, you can only catch one fish. For every new pole and new hook and new bait that goes into the water, now you're increasing the likelihood that you're going to catch more fish. The same thing applies. And TikTok doesn't punish you for uploading more content. Whereas if YouTube, you know, there's a thing that's like viewer fatigue, where because you're getting notifications when somebody uploads a video on YouTube. So you can definitely burn your viewers out on TikTok. It's like, oh, I've already seen this, and you just swipe. It's so easy to swipe on TikTok that you can completely bombard the platform with videos. It doesn't really matter because if somebody doesn't want to see it, they just keep swiping. They don't get viewer fatigue. They don't get tons of notifications and get annoyed. Can I do a live video to select viewers only? Yeah, I'm going to guess that you're talking about YouTube specifically. And there's a couple of ways to do that. So if you have channel members activated, you can set a stream only for channel members. For example, we do channel member streams. Usually, I didn't do it yesterday because of the holidays. We usually do them every Sunday, okay, before my normal live stream. If you don't have channel members activated, you can go live unlisted, right? You can, so you've got public, unlisted, private. You can set it to unlisted. You want to make sure it's not inside of any playlist. Set it to unlisted. And then anyone that you send a link to can click on that link and join your stream. Right? You can get a group of people. You can have a private Facebook group. You can send out an email blast to your email list and have an unlisted video link where only those people can access the video. Now, they can also share that link, so be careful with that. But yeah, that's one way to do it. Happy holidays, Mutts Nuts. Hope you're doing well. Boba Fett comes out on my birthday. Happy early birthday to you, and I can't think of a better birthday present than the book of Boba. I love it. Ian's all about the metaverse. Yeah, crazy. Question: even if playing in the background on a reaction video like a phone and you chop it up, are you talking about the risk of getting a content ID claim or strike? Yeah, even in the background. There are plenty of situations where vloggers are just walking down the street vlogging and a car drives by playing a song and they end up getting a content ID claim because of the song that was in a car that was passing by. So absolutely. If the system can identify what it is that you're showing in the background, you run the risk of getting a claim or getting a strike. Doesn't mean you will, but you can. You have to know that risk. Codec issue. A codec is, okay, so if you make a video and you encode that video, there are certain things within that software, a codec, an algorithm, so to speak, that is allowing you to encode that video to be played on multiple platforms, right? So you make your video, you render that video out, you upload it to YouTube. It re-encodes your video using multiple codecs to make sure that different platforms can actually see that video. If you're screen recording with OBS or any platform and it's showing up blank, it could be a codec issue. You might have to update something. It might actually not be black for everybody else. I would try downloading a free video player called VLC Player. It's totally free, and see if VLC Player will actually play that black video. Could just be something you need to update. I think you're a Mac user, so it could be something you need to add to your Mac. Codec issues when your system doesn't play that form of encoded video file, right? Oh, is Brian G. Johnson live? Oh my goodness. I feel terrible for streaming when Brian was streaming. I need to go. Is he still live? Is Brian still live? I feel terrible. Hold on. Here, Brian G. Johnson. I don't see Brian live anymore. Did he? Oh, he ended 16 minutes ago. Brian, my man, if you're watching, my apologies. I didn't know you were live streaming. It's really good. It gets complicated when you share an audience with other creators in the niche. We try not to step on other people's live streams out of courtesy. And I didn't know that he was going live, or I would have wrapped this up. My apologies, Brian, if you are watching this. My road to Thailand. Merry Christmas, D. Are you currently in Thailand? I have been out of Thailand since the pandemic started. I will come back to Thailand once I can safely come back to Thailand without having to worry about accidentally testing positive and getting put into a quarantine facility. Not trying to play with that. Hey, Jade, how you doing? Happy holidays. Hope you're doing well. You don't have to be funny for TikTok. You just have to be, in your case, you're sharing information. Here's the thing. Here's what you do. Open up TikTok, use their search feature, and try to find channels that have content similar to what you're making. You'll find that you don't have to be funny. You just have to learn the pacing of TikTok. TikTok moves fast. The editing process is faster than you're used to. So find the channels that are doing well over on TikTok that are in your niche, and there's tons of them over there. You just got to find them and look at their editing pacing. Look at how they move, how they choose the videos that they do. Study them, and you can make that happen. Technically, T in the house, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, T? I saw on Twitter you said you're feeling bad, man. Hope you're feeling better, man. Hope you don't have the Rona. It's getting crazy out there, man. I saw your post about CES, and I'm with you 110%. I can't believe CES is moving forward. Be safe if you're going. I know you're not going, but if somebody in the chat's going to CES, be safe. Question: Is it better to use original audio in shorts or trending audio? That is a great question. It depends. It depends. People can click on the audio and find other videos. I know. I like to use TikTok as an example, and we know that YouTube is trying everything it can to copy TikTok. So if YouTube is currently missing features, they will probably eventually have those features because they seem to be following TikTok, and they're about a year and a half behind with everything that they do. So we do know that with TikTok, using trending audio can be a way to get more views on your videos. Give me 1 second here. Let me turn the volume down here so I don't accidentally end up with a copyright issue. Give me a second here. Okay, so I'm just randomly looking at a short here. And if you look at the bottom, this little square, oh, there you go, Butterfingers. If you tap that square, that's the audio. So if you tap on that audio, what you're now going to see are all of the videos that are using that audio, right? So this is a great way for people to find you. I find myself doing this more. I mean, this is on YouTube, but I do this more on TikTok because TikTok has better audio. When I come across a trending song or a trending background where people use some sort of it could be a vocal, it could be something somebody says, it could be a speech, whatever. If I like it, I'll click on that because I want to see how other people make content to it. So I would always say, if you can, if it makes sense, use trending audio. If it doesn't make sense, don't force it. Use original audio if it doesn't make sense. I love the fishing analogy. Yeah, it's the only thing I can think of. I'm not very good with analogies. Justin in the house. How you doing, my man? Happy holidays. Question: A lawyer in my field has 220,000 or 200,000 subscribers on TikTok, but is having a difficult time on YouTube. I plan to shoot my first TikTok video this or next week. Yeah, man, I want to see you on there. Here's the thing. It's really easy to get discovered on TikTok. You just have to understand the pacing. You have to understand what people want. Coming over from YouTube, You might have some growing pains because you have to rethink editing. You have to rethink pacing. You have to rethink stuffing everything into a shorter video. Okay. When you do that, you're going to find that you grow on TikTok. Now, if somebody's having a difficult time growing on YouTube, but they're growing on TikTok, it's just that they haven't figured out how to do things on YouTube, right? Because editing is different, right? These platforms are completely different. How you make something for TikTok is different than how you make something for YouTube. And that creator is obviously struggling to, maybe he's trying to be like TikTok on YouTube, and that sometimes it works, but it doesn't always work. You'll find some TikTok accounts with millions and millions of followers, but they can't do anything on YouTube because they've got the short form content mentality. They don't understand long form content. They're two totally different things. But I also don't know how successfully he's trying to bring people over as well. D, looking back at your YouTube journey, what was your biggest mistake you've made on your channel, or what would you do over? This is a great question. The biggest mistake I made starting was not focusing on a particular operating system. If I had to start it over, right? If I had a genie and I rubbed the genie's little belly and I said, I want to go back to the beginning of my YouTube journey, I would probably focus only on iOS devices. Not because I think it's better, but because I think there's more videos to make. You know, I can make videos about iPhone, make videos about iPad. I can make videos about MacBooks, Mac Minis, right? There's so many things in the Apple ecosystem. That's what I would have done different. Is I would have focused on iPhones specifically, because what happened is, the reason I'm saying this is because I've segmented my audience, right? Part of my audience is they're Android users. Part of the audience is an iPhone user. So anytime I make a video that's specific to an Android user, iPhone users don't watch that. And that's a negative signal to YouTube, right? I upload a video and half of my audience doesn't watch it. YouTube says, oh, this isn't going to do very well. I upload an iPhone video and the Android community doesn't watch it. And YouTube says, oh, okay, this video is not very good. YouTube doesn't really pay attention to if they've got an iPhone or Android, and that's not why they're watching it. They just know that half of my audience isn't watching the phone or isn't watching the video. Versus videos that I do that are cross-platform, those tend to do better out of the gate and more long-term if I do everything correctly. So I would either A, focus only on one platform or one device, iPhone, iPad, Apple, right? Or I would focus only on both platforms. The biggest mistake I made was segmenting my audience. As soon as I started making videos for this is for iPhone or this is for Android, that's where everything went wrong. So that's the biggest mistake, and that's what I would do differently starting over. Pick one. Justin, have a good one, man. That's right. I have not seen the new Spider-Man yet. No spoilers, please. Yeah, VLC plays it black. No, OBS is on Windows. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, you could try reinstalling it. I would go to Google search OBS screen recording black screen. There's probably 1,000 people who have the same problem. Brother Corey, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing? Happy holidays to you. Question, why is it some of my videos get picked up by the algorithm and some don't? I'm still trying to figure this out. I feel like I do the same thing in each video I upload. This is a great question. And you have a baking channel. Without looking at your channel, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that a lot of your traffic is coming from search or suggested. Could be wrong. I'm not looking at your channel. That's just my guess. So here's what happens when and this applies to every single person in the chat right now. When we upload a video, YouTube immediately shows that video to a small group of people. It might be 5 people. It might be 50 people, 500, 5,000, 50,000, depends on your channel size. A lot of those people are going to be subscribers. Okay. When I say show your video, it means that it's going to show that thumbnail, right? Somebody's going to open up YouTube and there's your video, right? It'll probably be over here for a lot of people. It could be over here on the subscription tab, or they could temporarily put it over here on the homepage, whatever. They're going to show it to some people. Those are impressions, right? If you're looking at your data and you see the word impressions, That's how many people actually saw that thumbnail, your impressions. So as soon as you upload, YouTube, I don't care if you just started a channel today, YouTube will show that to somebody, even if it's only 2 people. You will have some sort of impression number, even if it's only 2 people. And when you do that, YouTube immediately starts looking at the data. Let's just say they show it to 2 people. What did those 2 people do? Did 2 people click on it? If so, did they watch it? Were they satisfied? How long did they watch? And if it was a positive signal, they show it to more people. Maybe they show it to 8 people. How did those 8 people react? Pretty good. Let's show it to 50 people. And by the way, I'm just pulling these numbers out. Those numbers are completely going to change based on your channel size. And they're going to continue to show it to different groups of people based on if there's a positive reaction from the people who have seen it. It works the other way around. If negative signals happen, if YouTube shows that video to 2 people and those 2 people don't click on it, guess what YouTube says? Yeah, those 2 people didn't like it. Maybe we'll show it to a couple of others and just see how those people react. And they show it to a couple of others and those people don't react positively. Guess what happens to your video? Down it goes into the bottomless pit of the YouTube sea, right? So negative signals to YouTube are going to sink your video. Positive signals to YouTube are going to make that video come up. Hold on. Right? So that's what happens to everyone's videos. Now, it's a little more complicated than that. That was a little bit simplified. The more YouTube knows about your channel and your audience specifically, the better chances are of them getting your videos in front of the right people. It's not really putting your videos in front of the right people. It's getting the right, YouTube is always trying to find the right videos for the audience, right? That's what YouTube's always trying to do. It's not about you and me. It's about the audience. What videos do the audience want to see? And the more YouTube understands your audience, the better the chance that they're going to match that audience correctly. Okay. So if they understand your audience and they're showing your videos to your audience, and it doesn't mean your subscribers, it just means people who like your type of content. Positive reaction, your video comes up. Negative reaction, it goes down. If they don't understand your audience, if you've confused YouTube by uploading different types of content. So baking, right? So let's say you have a baking channel, but you've also got vlogs in there where you go to the mall and it has nothing to do with baking. Well, now you're confusing YouTube. So maybe YouTube is putting your baking videos in front of the wrong audience, which in turn the audience doesn't click on your video, which in turn is a negative signal to YouTube, right? It's like dominoes that fall down. Wrong audience, you're not interested, they don't click. They don't click, negative signals, the video starts to sink, right? So that could be happening. That's usually how things work. That being said, how many people in the chat have uploaded a video? It died right out of the gate. This happens to me all the time because of the type of content that I make. I upload a video. It doesn't do well out of the gate. Months later, 3 months, 6 months, all of a sudden that video just shoof, it just takes off. Right? How many people has that happened to? That can happen based on relevance, trending topics, based on YouTube finally having enough information about the audience and about the video, right? It could just be they don't have enough data on that video yet, right? There's a lot of factors involved. And that was a simplified of a version that I could explain, but that's kind of how YouTube works. Positive signals, off it goes. Negative signals, down it goes. Or sometimes you just have to plant the seed, water the seed, and wait for it to grow. That's YouTube in a nutshell. There's enough to go around for both the Mexican and Brian G. Should we discuss YouTube's new push for podcast content? Fantastic question. So for those of you who don't know, YouTube is going to be pushing very hard into the podcast market. I don't know exactly the tools that they're going to have, but they are going to start attracting podcasters because people are going elsewhere for podcasting. I don't know what this is going to look like, but I would say this. If YouTube is moving into that territory and you've got a podcast, ignore it at your own peril. They're pushing into this for a reason. YouTube has tons of traffic. If you are a podcaster or you're thinking about getting into podcast, be someone who gets in on YouTube's podcasting features as soon as it's available. Do you really need music in your video? I'm a beginner and I'm just scared of getting my videos flagged because of music. No, you don't need music for anything. In fact, if you choose the wrong music, people might not like the music and click away, or your music might be too loud. So I would say this, if you're just starting, don't use music. Focus everything on learning how to communicate. Focus everything on learning how to make videos that the audience will respond to. Once you understand what your audience wants, once you understand how to properly communicate with that audience, then it becomes easier. And plus, you're going to become better as an editor and as a communicator and as a YouTuber. Then you're going to have a better understanding of how to use music, right? As a beginner, you don't know how to use music yet. You don't know the right levels to set the music. You don't know because you're not experienced with editing yet. You don't know where to put it. You don't know how to use it, when to make it louder. What type of music should I use, right? These are things that you have to learn, and you will learn those eventually. So if you're unsure, I would say don't use it just yet. Learn how to make videos that the audience responds to. First and foremost, please the audience. If you please the audience, you're going to find that everything falls into place. If you make videos that people want to watch, and you make videos that people actually watch because they want to watch it, and you're good at holding their attention, everything will fall into place. I've had copyright claims because of game music. Yep, absolutely. And I'm going to let you guys in on, I've talked about this a couple of times. I've talked about this, and give me a second here. I'm going to share something with you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to share this right now. Chat. I'm going to drop this into the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Creative Lady.
Super Chat.
Thank you for being informative. Thank you so much for the super chat. Happy holidays to you. Gulf Coast Granny, thank you so much for the super chat.
Super Chat.
I appreciate you. Joe's Firewood Videos, thank you so much.
Super Chat.
D, you were right. My phone orientation was locked. I knew you were the guy to go to. There you go, man. There you go. So if you ever see me posting on social media, like, hey, if anybody has, if you can put a quote together for me, because I'm putting it together on my website or something, stand up and let me know I sorted that for you. Thank you so much. Eric, man, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. Eric just launched a second channel. It's very narrow niche, Whiskey Trek. It's a whiskey channel for Trekkies. Interesting. I know what to do now, what I didn't know before because of Nick and D. Hope you're doing well, man. Okay, so I'm going to drop a channel in the chat right now, and I'm going to share this. Some of you know this is coming, some of you don't. What I want you to do, if you're unsure of where to get music, if you're worried about copyright claims and copyright strikes, I want you to go subscribe to this channel right now. This is my channel. I'm doing this with my brother. There's a website being built as well, but this is how you know. Go subscribe to this, and you're going to see a Twitter icon up here in the corner. If you're on Twitter, right, subscribe here and go follow us on Twitter, because here in just a couple of weeks, we are going to have a totally free music resource for creators and live streamers, podcasters, vloggers, totally free. All the music is 100% original. This is something we've been working on for a long time. Obviously, there's nothing here right now. When this kicks off, there'll be videos coming in. There will be a website involved where you go down. You can just download everything for free. You can go in, you can choose the album, you can choose the genre, you can choose the mood, choose the tracks you want to use, download the tracks, put them in your live streams, so on and so forth, with no worry whatsoever about copyright claims, copyright strikes. So if you're worried about where to get music and you don't have a budget, this is going to be for everyone who is who wants totally free, safe music to use. This is owned by myself and my brother Nick. 100% original music. We're gonna have all kinds of genres. We've got house, we've got trap, we've got synthwave, cyberpunk, ambient music. So we're trying to do a little bit for everybody. All right, Giorgio, thank you, my man.
Super Chat.
Happy holidays. You're the man. Thanks for helping members and myself. Always happy to help, man. Always happy to help. Going to look for chat here. Should creators like baking with Charlene niche down or create separate channels for other content? Well, looking at her name, right? Like, I didn't look at her channel, but if it's baking, like I see baking, therefore I think every video on that channel should be baking related, right? Based on the channel name alone, every piece of content she makes should be about baking. She should make her channel a destination for people who want to learn how to bake. Jam random places. You just got 101 subscribers today. Congratulations. Here's the thing. You got your 100 subscribers. Probably within the next 2 weeks, you're going to be able to claim your custom URL. So it will be like youtube.com/your name. It usually takes anywhere from 7 to 14 days to get that activated on YouTube. So keep an eye out for that. Is it good to take off low performing videos? Low performing? No. I would only remove videos that are not relevant to the niche that your channel is in. So Art of War Made Easy. I don't know if you're decoding the book and talking about lessons through the book, Art of War. I'm not really sure what your channel's about. But let's say you have one niche here. Whatever doesn't fit into that bowl, right, that you have. My channel is about helping YouTubers, specifically mobile YouTubers, right? If I uploaded a video in the past about how to rebuild my carburetor or how to unclog a toilet, those are not relevant to what my channel is doing now. So for those, I would go in and I would unlist those videos. But just low performing, no, leave them up there. Because you never know when those videos are going to take off. They might be low performing now. A year from now, 2 years from now, when your channel's bigger, you might be able to see those videos take off. It's all right, man. Our own mom mixes that up. Hey, Larcia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sweetest Cat World, how you doing? Happy holidays to you. Happy holidays to you. D, I only use music from the YouTube audio library. That's fine. That's a safe place to use music. The thing about the YouTube audio library is make sure that you're using music. You can sort the music in there, but let me show you this. Hold on. Because some people still get claims and strikes from the YouTube audio library. So let me, give me a second. I'm going to pull this up. All right, let me share my screen here. So if you're getting music from the YouTube audio library, which is a safe place to get music, it's by YouTube, but some people still get claims, and here's why. So when you come into the audio library, which is available, if you come into YouTube Studio and you come down here to audio library, down on the side, these are all free songs that you can use. Now, here's the important part. If you look at this little filter icon right here, if you click on that, you're going to see down here at the bottom, attribution not required, attribution required. Attribution means you have to give them credit. So if you use, so let's just say attribution required. Okay. So all of the music that you see right now, you have to give them credit or you can get a copyright claim, right? License type. So what happens is you have to come in here, click on that little CC, and this is Creative Commons attribution. What you have to do is copy this information here and put it in your description. If you don't do that with YouTube Audio Library and the song requires attribution, you will get a copyright claim. So it's very important. And this is where a lot of people go wrong with YouTube Audio Library. It's very important that if you do not want to use attribution, you want to choose songs that do not require attribution, right? So now I filter by attribution not required, and you see that the license type has changed. Now, if you're not filtering, let's just say genre. If you're not filtering, let's do, I don't know, ambient and hip hop and classical and cinematic. So if you're not filtering, you still want to pay attention to the licensing type over on the side. And you can see based on the icon, these are all no attribution required. But if you see the little CC, Creative Commons, you have to give attribution. So don't go wrong with that if you're getting music from the audio library, because they'll burn you on that one. Do high-performing videos give you an idea of what your audience wants? It depends on how you're viewing high-performing. If you're talking about high-performing in views, probably. If you're talking about high-performing in terms of watch time, you know, you've got 70% of the people have completed the video. That's a really good indication that you're on the right path. Awesome. Yeah, follow on Twitter, Creator Mix, follow on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. As soon as the site's live, we'll be blasting that out on Twitter. And then you guys can download music, use it for free. Use it in your streams. You can stream it on Spotify while you're streaming. However you want to use it, it's entirely up to you. I want to hear that yeah, there's no duets. It's all instrumental. So one thing for creators is the majority of creators don't use vocals in their songs. So we're starting this off with no vocals. If vocals is something that people like, hey, I would love to have some vocal tracks, we might add that later. But because most people streaming, playing games, most people using music in their videos don't use vocals, we're not starting with that. We're not launching with blues, but it's on the list to be added. We will have it. We're not launching with it, but we will have it. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, by the way, yeah, once you do see it live, if we don't have music that you want, there'll be a contact form in the website where you can let us know what type of music that you like. So we can we want to craft this so it's something that you actually want and music that you want to use. Gonna have music that's funky? Yes, we will. Not for launch, but yes, it's actually being made right now. Let's see here, going through getting questions. I haven't made my custom URL yet. After I make a custom URL, can I change it later? Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Let me switch my account. So I have a channel here that it's just a tutorial thing for a product that I sell. And let me go into the URL part. Give me 1 second here. And we can talk about how to do this. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So once you're into channel customization, and if you're trying to claim your custom URL, this is what you do. You come over here to basic info. Basic info. You'll click on that. And then you'll scroll down here to where it says channel URL. Now, if you're eligible to get a custom URL, you'll see this blue text right here. Set a custom URL for your channel. Now, you can change your custom URL, but there are limitations on how many times you can do it per year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's 3 times per year you can change it. So choose carefully. Now, to set your custom URL, you simply click on that. And then they will recommend one for you. Or you can click here and you can add your own. Now, here's something that gets really confusing. You see that they've already added a name. And the only option they gave me here is to add letters or numbers to the name that they've already forced on me. Well, what if I don't want that name? Well, what YouTube is doing here is they are taking this name here and they're forcing it down there, right? So if you can't get the name that you want, simply click on the pencil icon, change this name, right? See what happens if let's just say streamer templates videos, right? And let's say I publish this. Oh, I almost claimed that. Holy cow. No, we don't want, that was almost a huge mess. All right. So streamer templates videos. Let me reload here. And it should now say streamer templates videos. Give me a second. Custom URL. It hasn't cached yet. This will eventually come back and say streamer template videos because that's what I changed this to right up here. Oh, it didn't save it. That's why. Yeah, because I already started typing into the channel URL, it's wanting to save that. So I'm not going to mess with that. But anyway, if you find that it's not allowing you to put the name that you want, change the name up here. And then it should work to allow you to change the name here. You got to finesse it a little bit. It's kind of a silly system. That's what I'm talking about. I'm starting to feel like YouTube videos are a hatchling investments. Absolutely. Think of videos like seeds, right? Like think of it like you're a video farmer and you're planting seeds. You're planting seeds, and some of those seeds are going to give you, some of those seeds are going to grow, right? You're going to harvest some of those seeds. Some of them are not going to grow. You're a video farmer. Plant the best seed you can, water the seed, move on and plant the next seed. I only use not required, give credit. Perfect. You're good to go. Sweetest cat world. Never. Yep. See it. Right. YouTube does a terrible job explaining this stuff. I had no idea about that. I thought it was all okay to use, right? If you don't give them attribution means credit, right? If you don't give them credit and they require credit, you will get a copyright claim. Yep, I know. I hope you get at least a few Daniel Gittel. Yeah, he is. So Daniel is making music for us as well. We're not going to have it for launch, but he is making some music. So one of the things that we're doing with Creator Mix, we've been working with lots of different musicians, and we're trying to focus on, they're not all YouTubers, but we're trying to focus on musicians who are also YouTubers. We're trying to make this as much of a community thing as possible. So Daniel Battelle has some tracks that he's putting in there. Jason Lewis from Painfully Honest Tech has some music he's putting in there. Dan Tana is putting some music in there. So we got a lot of YouTubers who are making music specifically for this. So we're gonna launch it, and then we'll be adding stuff as we go. You just got to get it up, got to get it running. I can't even change my custom URL once a year. They may have changed it. It used to be 3 times a year. I could be mistaken on that one. I don't know. Sweeney says yes. 3 times is correct. Yeah, weird. Yeah, I don't know. If you change the new custom URL, will the old URL redirect to the new one? That's a great question. Right. So what's going to happen is, let's just say your name is youtube.com/Amy Johnson Crow. And let's say you change it. youtube.com/Amy Johnson. Okay. If you have that link, Amy Johnson Crow, out anywhere in the wild, and somebody clicks on that link, I'm not 100%, I can't guarantee that that's going to forward over. It might, but what happens is that URL, the old one, is now available. So YouTube will sit on that domain for a little bit, or that URL, and they're not going to release it to the public for a while, but eventually your old name will be available. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm not 100% sure it's going to redirect properly. So be careful if you're putting that out externally. That's a great question, though. E-Class and Bytes, how you doing? Nice to see you in here. If you upload a video and got a claim, can you go into your description and give credit? Then will it come off? If you're talking about the audio library, I'm not sure if you can add that after the fact. I'm not sure. You could try it. If you have one with a claim from the library, you can test it. If it's outside of the YouTube library, then no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay. And on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. That was a great stream. Luria, if you're still listening, thank you for coming in and hanging out today. That was great. And for those of you who are interested, I'm going to put this on the screen one more time. This is going to be a fantastic event. It's called Expand Your Reach Live. I've got a link down in the description below to that. This is a virtual live summit happening January 12th to 14th. I will be involved in this. I'll be part of a live panel. We'll be speaking there, but look at some of these speakers: Amy Porterfield, Pat Flynn, Daryl Leaves, Harris Heller, Mike Stelzner from Social Media Marketing World, Keena Kelly from TikTok Business, Roberto Blake, Renee Ritchie, Gerald Dunn, Epos Vox. Man, look at this list. And there's some really, really big name people that haven't been added yet that I can't talk about, that they've never actually done an event before. So that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. Hey, Alex, how you doing? Question. I missed all that about this music. Are you starting a channel with music? Yeah. So the link that I dropped in, oops, not that. Let me stop a second here. Let's see if I can go back to it. Give me a second. All right, so we're launching here, I'm putting a link in the chat right now. We're launching a music channel. There's a website involved too. It'll be creatormix.com, but it's just not live yet. It's being built in the back end. So there'll be a website where you can actually go and download free music that you can use in your videos, or use in your live streams, or use in your podcasts if you want. Online courses, however you want to use it. So it's going to be totally free. So it's like the YouTube audio library, but it's ours. or like Epidemic Sound, but free. Think of it like that. All right. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Listen, have a very happy New Year's. Have a safe New Year's. I know in the US and parts of the world, it's getting crazy out there. So be safe. Do what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And I will see you in 2022. I can't believe the year just blew by already. Holy cow. I'll see everybody next year. Have an awesome and safe New Year's. Thanks for hanging out with me today.